Hey, I'm Frank J. Avella. Welcome and/or welcome back. This is our third presentation of Ganymede Revisited, three short plays that meditate on queer sexual power, past, present, and future, presented by the Tank. The plays in running order are CATAMITUS, about a film director accused of sexual misconduct, with Matt Merritt as Tanner and Ben Bacco as Dylan. Ganymede, which flashes back to ancient Rome and features John J. Squires as Julius Caesar and Christopher Robin Sapp as Octavian. And Gaia, set in a brave new future, starring Carlotta Brentan as Minerva and Andrea Grano as Barbara. J.D. West provides narration and genius tech support. Please stay tuned after Gaia, where there'll be a special 10-minute coda that reunites all of the characters. It's been a thrill to work with all 18 actors on this project. Much gratitude to Ashley Garrett for her unwavering support. And thank you, Megan, Anthony, Danielle, and the entire Tank team for the opportunity to explore and share this work. Finally, please support the Tank by donating wherever and whenever you can. Visit thetanknyc.org. Now, CATAMITUS.
I liked girls.
You liked getting fucked by me.
Not at first. Especially, I didn't want to. You were really aggressive and I...
Fuck my world some more. Is that why you're here? To cry rape like the others? You come brandishing your own hashtag? Are you wearing a wire?
Yeah, sure. It's hidden. Come find it.
Tanner puts his arms out and spreads his legs. Dylan frisks him. He caresses his upper body at first and becomes a bit rough. He places his hand down Tanner's pants. Tanner lets him. Dylan finds a knife. He pulls it out, opens it, closes it, and puts it back in Tanner's pocket.
Your body's changed.
I'm an adult now.
Pity.
I heard from Paul you're pretty much a hermit lately. No more parties, no more boy flow, no more career. That one I read about in the Hollywood Reporter.
Just one of the legion of new pariahs created by that misguided movement. Time's up your ass. So, what's your agenda?
I'm not here to add myself to the ever-growing list of accusers, if that's your concern.
Need more money?
No, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, I saw you in My Cousin the Lycan. Classy crap.
Pays the bills. And let's face it, as you were always fond of telling me, I'm no Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, you're not. But there was something there. Something you can't put into words.
You fed me that. Way back when you came to my high school to speak, you were so inspiring. I followed you out of the auditorium to talk to you about your wizard movies. They meant so much to me. All of these heroes were social misfits, mostly teens who didn't fit in, and all the bullies got punished. So I asked if you had a part for me in your upcoming movie.
Ballsy.
Yeah, I was. Only because I saw that you couldn't stop staring at me from the podium when you were speaking. You kept looking over. So I couldn't tell if you saw something special in me.
You had that kind of insight at 18?
I was 15, and probably not. But in retrospect and after overanalyzing my life to shit, it's the only conclusion that I've come to.
You were not 15.
I was just 15.
I'm sure I assumed you were 18.
You assumed every boy that you met and fancied was 18. That's your thing. Don't ask, don't tell, don't give a fuck, give a fuck.
Clever. You stood out from all those future fast food managers. You were hot as fuck. And you were definitely staring back at me.
Of course I was. Everyone was. You were the speaker. You were Dylan Lennon.
I meant you were staring back in that way.
Okay, sure. Fine. You seemed so interested in what I had to say. So I told you I was starring in Pajama Game at my high school, and I invited you, and you actually came. You even came to the after party, and you told stories, and you posed for selfies, and afterwards you pulled me aside and promised to put me in your next movie. And it was like being shot up with heroin. And then you put your hand on the back of my pants and kissed me on the mouth. A week later, you flew me out and moved me in. I always How much my folks sell me for? I've never had the courage to ask them.
A small fortune. And I did give you a part in my film.
You gave my naked ass a part in your film. You shot a 3-minute scene with me in it and just used the shot of my ass getting out of the shower.
It was a good ass.
An even better one now. Want to see? Look at you, all tentative. Paul told me you were abstaining from debauchery because of lawsuits.
Paul's a regular chatty, cunty Cathy.
Yeah, he's also the only one who hasn't turned on you besides me.
Yet. So, if you're not here to nail me to a cross.
Nail you to a cross? Do you see yourself as some misunderstood Christ-like figure?
I'm being sacrificed because a few bad actors never made it and want to blame me. And erase my legacy and discredit all the groundbreaking work I've done. They're bent on shredding anything and anyone who doesn't fit into their brave new revisionist world.
Did you ever stop and think that they're just trying to create a better world? One where people in power can't get away with being inappropriate with children.
I never abused children. You weren't a child. All my boys knew what they wanted, what they were doing. You did. But everyone's got to add their verse to the deafening "fuck me too" chorus. You don't hear me blaming Father Thomas for sucking me off when I was 13 because I enjoyed it. You don't hear me moaning about how he victimized and objectified and sexualized and all their fun new verbs.
Look, you did sexualize. You're so sneaky. You're trying to excuse what you did by playing the victim yourself. Are you even Catholic?
Does it matter, since you're bent on condemning me?
I'm not condemning you. I take responsibility, and I knew what I was doing. And I was no better than you were when it came to continuing the cycle. I mean, the boys you'd bring over, I had my way with too.
Learn from the best. To the best.
Being with you was definitely an education. The way you'd get what, who you wanted, when you wanted it, like the way you'd dial a boy.
Dial a boy?
We'd be watching the CW or some other predator-pleasing channel, and you'd see someone you wanted and send a text. Within days, the boy would arrive at your doorstep as if by drone, like a trophy that you had earned, and for what? You did make some great movies. Movies that matter and maybe change lives, but you also used and discarded people. Like you were some kind of magnificent god we should all just want to open our asses for.
Well, there's a cinematic image. I'll have to remember it if I ever work again.
Good luck with that. And yeah, sure, I got sucked in the never-ending flow of it all. The boys, the actors and the singers, writers, social media stars, street kids, you only cared that they were young and fuckable. And if they showed any resistance like I did at first, then you'd get them nice and stoned, roofie them, do whatever you had to do. I have my own version of the zombie pills now. Lexa something. And then, of course, there would be a Viagra on tap for those more populated nights. Then get out, bye. But I'm curious, Dylan. What made me so special that you didn't kick me out when you kicked all the others out? What made me so worthy?
I loved you.
Why? Why did you love me besides my being hot as fuck?
I never felt like you were using me for my status, my money, my whatever. Not in the way the others were, the dial-a boys were.
Well, that's fucking ironic because that's exactly what I was doing. I only slept with you because you were Dylan Lennon, and I only stayed with you because I wanted to be cool and rich and a movie star. I sure as shit didn't want to have sex with you.
Yes, you did. I know that look.
That look? You were my hero. I was confused, definitely, but not only into dudes.
You loved it. All of it. Especially the role-playing, the inmate guard fantasies, all of it.
Did I? Did you ever notice that my cock was usually soft? Don't get me wrong, I liked being your boy. Until I realized that I was really just my ass. You loved my ass. And there were so many other asses you wanted to love, but you had me convinced that I was the one.
You were.
Was I? How can you say that with a straight, excuse the pun, face? I've read the accounts. At least 7 others this week were also under the impression that they
them. Fuck them. They are demented. Those faggots will say anything to get their 90 seconds of fame, and they never mattered. You were my boy. My hot as fuck boy. Then you left me.
Because I got tired of you lending me out to your friends. You'd leave me alone with that mega agent or that studio rep, and what was I supposed to do? So I became this sex whore. That's what you made me.
What I made you. Maybe you wanted, but I did
No,
not.
I never wanted that. Letting creepy old men and creepier young men think that it's okay to do whatever they please without taking into account that I'm a human being and might not want to shit blood and come all week long.
And if I said I had no idea that was going on?
I'd say you should stick to directing, because you're no Daniel Day-Lewis either.
You could have said... You should have said no.
Keen advice now. I didn't know how to say no. But I do now. And thanks to you and your band of predators, I never got to figure out my sexuality on my own terms. I wonder who I might have been had I not had the courage to speak to you that warm winter day. Maybe married? With kids? God, maybe happy.
Maybe delusional.
Are you so sure? Because I'm not. I never got to explore that part of my life. I like women. I mean, watching Twilight growing up, I wanted to do Edward and Bella and Jacob.
I could have arranged that. Dial a cast. And now? Who does it for you now?
No one. I have this reputation for being a ladies' man with my fans. Shut up, I have fans. And all the hot guys on set keep hitting on me, but I haven't been with anyone since you.
Bullshit. You're 30. No way you've been celibate for 3 years. You're a dude.
I'm 22. But I guess that's 30 in Dylan years. You're such a mess.
Without you. See, there's that look.
Tanner kisses him gently, then hard, then gently again.
You here to fuck with my head?
Maybe.
Tanner takes out a knife and gets behind him. Dylan tries to move away. Tanner stops him by placing the knife to his throat.
Stand still.
Yes, sir.
You don't like relinquishing power, do you?
What power?
Touché.
Is this your revenge fantasy or your rape fantasy?
Why can't it be both?
Tanner has nicked Dylan.
I am who I am. I grew up in a time when guys who fucked guys died, and I'm alive. We not only had the gay stigma that your gen is free of, thanks to us, but we were seen as walking death traps. If you looked at us, your cock fell off. So a lot of us just fucked like crazy because we were going to die soon anyway. Who knew some of us would get lucky? And there was no bothering with love and marriage and kids and all that nonsense. We didn't want or need any of that het life bullshit. And today you're all sexually fluid. You even think you could be some happy hetero. Back then we were fiercely proud to be gay. And I had that one other proclivity that I share with the ancient Greeks and Romans. I like my boys young and beautiful, because that's what inspires me, youth and beauty. And no laws or tweets are ever going to change that. And you're more beautiful than ever. You still look exactly like you did when I first saw you sitting in the third row of that auditorium. You rocked my world. And to think back on you naked at my side. So here you are, at my side, with that look.
With that look.
Tanner, still holding the knife, advances and kisses Dylan. Dylan steps closer towards the knife and hugs Tanner, still kissing him. Tanner fully embraces him now, body and soul, plunging the knife into Dylan, who lets it happen. Dylan slowly falls into Tanner's arms, then to the ground. Tanner puts the knife down and stares at Dylan's body. He then takes out a bottle of pills, opens it, and empties it into his mouth. Tanner positions himself on the ground, holding Dylan's lifeless body, caressing him and waiting. July 45 BC. Julius Caesar has defeated the Republican army at the Battle of Munda in Hispania Ulterior, now Spain, for Rome. He remains in Spain for several weeks, conquering towns and imprisoning and slaughtering his enemies. He will soon return to Rome and be made dictator for life, and will shortly thereafter be assassinated by conspiring members of the Senate. But at this moment, his position of power and influence in the known world is unrivaled. During the Spanish campaign, Caesar sends for his great nephew, Octavian, who will go on to become Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Because of ill health, Octavian arrives after the battle is already fought and won. The setting is a tent somewhere in Spain. Caesar stands behind Octavian.
After 8 relentless hours of blood spilling at Munda, fighting side by side with my men, and by the grace of Venus and a prophetic miscalculation on their part, we bested them.
Decimated, I was told.
Pompey's sons fought well, but they were no match for my legions.
No match for you.
No match for Rome.
You are Rome.
I am Rome.
You crushed them like you vanquished their father at Pharsalus.
Pharsalus was another matter.
Regale me.
Again?
It's been too long since you've filled me in.
We were outnumbered.
2-1.
Antony commanded the left, Sylla the right.
Domitius, center.
I anticipated danger to my right flank.
Your flank.
So I quickly ordered them to form a 4th line.
A protection line.
I asked my men to summon up their courage.
Brave men.
And they attacked, wild with enthusiasm.
For you.
For Rome.
You are Rome.
Pompey assumed they'd grow tired.
But they grew more excited.
While his men grew fearful, doubtful.
You remained strong, cocksure.
The battle was fierce.
Savage, sweaty.
The 4th line was our salvation.
By Mars.
We pounded them into jelly.
Pounded, pummeled.
We gutted them.
Great carnage.
Victory was ours.
Caesar has finished having sex with Octavian.
You didn't tell about ordering your men to cut at the soldiers' faces, knowing they would dread visible scars more than fatal wounds. That's my favorite part of the story. Roman vanity revealed.
Something I am far too familiar with.
Every man fled for fear of being marked. I'd have donned a face mask under my helmet and fought.
I'm sure you would have.
I apologized for arriving too late to fight.
Atia sent word you were gravely ill.
Mother exaggerates. It was just a fever.
Last time I summoned you, you were shipwrecked and fought your way through rough terrain, risking your life to get to me. I can forgive a fever.
It pleases me that I please you.
You do. Please me. You may not have inherited my height, nephew, but you rival me with your piercing eyes. You are far more exquisite than Helen of Troy could have ever hoped to be. Certainly than I ever was.
That's not the rumor, great uncle.
You'd be wise not to listen to rumor.
Even the one about you being catamite to the king of Bithynia?
Especially that one. You are bold today, nephew. I admire that. You shouldn't pay heed to Cicero's slanders, attempting to diminish me by prestige and portray me as less than masculine.
The irony.
Irony?
In how simple even the cleverest of people are when it comes to deciphering the power dynamics of passivity in the sexual act. We know that can be deceptive.
Brash boy.
Surely you can confide the truth to your nephew, the one who has given himself to you again and again. Wild with enthusiasm, uncle.
What I say does not leave this tent. I was slightly older than you, and pleasing the king would yield me certain career benefits, advantages. He was a loving man who helped me forge my path. That is all I wish to share.
That's enough, uncle.
It is never the act that matters. It is whether you admit it or not. Rumors will always abound. Truth is never as important as perception. Realize that and you will go far.
Do you think I will? Go far?
I do.
How far?
How far would you like to go?
I'm not certain.
Come now, boy. You have ravenous ambition. I've sensed that since you were a child. As a matter of fact, I see in you a great deal of myself at your age.
A great compliment, one I'm not certain I'm worthy of.
Modesty is a waste of time, nephew.
It's not modesty as much as trepidation. I've been force-fed tales of all the omens, prophecies, the serpent that marked mother's body while I danced in her womb, foretelling the birth of a Roman king. But what am I really, other than a sickly boy?
A sickly boy who is growing into a formidable young man. Do not let your ailments detract you. I too have my bouts with illness. I've never allowed it to shadow me.
But you're the great Caesar. No one would dare.
Because I keep certain things hidden. You must do the same.
I fear if I do that, I'll disappear into nothingness.
Is that true humility? Or are you more clever than I give you credit for?
I know I have certain strengths, but I need a master to guide me. Teach me, uncle. Teach me all I must know to be even half the man you are.
You will be much more than that.
Take me to Syria so I can fight in the Parthian campaign.
I may, boy, but first you must train and continue your education. You must use your mind and body.
I think I can do that.
Oh, I know you can. But you must never appear weak. Life's a tricky thing. I felt no joy at Pharsalus when I destroyed Pompey's legions, and was devastated when that barbaric Egyptian boy beheaded the man who was once my friend. But I refused to show my pain. Weakness, nephew, is one thing you can never afford to show. Not to your friends or your enemies, who may well be disguised as your friends, and never to the people.
You speak as if I could, in fact, lead one day as you do.
Perhaps not as I do, but you can, and you will lead.
By what right?
You have always been an honorary member of the Julian clan.
That will only get me so far.
Careful, nephew. Your ambition is showing. And growing.
Is it? Your wish was for me to shed my modesty.
So it was.
Uncle, you have been my mentor, my teacher, my king.
I am no one's king.
You are Rome's king, therefore you are mine.
If the Senate heard you speak this
Do
way...
you see any miserable old goats in this tent? Just a virile king and his loyal subject.
Oh, get up. King? Dictator suits me fine.
Is there a difference?
In the eyes of both patricians and plebeians, there certainly is. I have no desire to be king.
But if the gods choose you, you have no choice.
Are we still speaking about me?
You've done well guiding Rome into economic fortune while navigating its self-destructive politics, and proven that the Senate isn't necessarily necessary for Rome to thrive, and for its working people to bloom.
You speak heresy. Truthful, perspicacious heresy. But I will not live forever.
You are virtually a young man. You show no signs of age.
I am 65. Today, in fact, I am hardly a young man.
You penetrate like a young man. You lead like a god. You attack like Mars himself.
And you speak like a politician and move like a sly panther. Beautiful, terrifying.
Does that please you? Do I please you?
Octavian, I have great affection for you. You have tackled every task I have given with intelligence and sagacious tenacity. You listen, you absorb, you debate, you meditate. You leave me breathless. Yes, you please me.
Octavian kisses Caesar.
And
Yes, uncle?
you will be my heir.
How is that possible?
It is possible because I will decree it to be so.
What of Antony?
What of Antony?
All of Rome assumes he will be your heir, Antony included.
Then all of Rome will be disappointed, Antony included.
And the Queen of Egypt.
Surely Rome does not assume Cleopatra to be my heir.
No, but your son, Caesarion, she will fight for him.
Rome will never accept him as my beneficiary. She is well aware of that.
Cicero says she's an arrogant.
Cicero? Cicero should watch his scandalous tongue, lest it be cut out and forced down his diabolical throat.
There is talk that Caesarion, that he...
He is my son. You need only look at his face to see that. And, as my heir, you must vow to Augustus that you will look after him.
As I would my own brother.
Spoken like a true son.
A true son.
I will make you my son.
Do you speak the truth? You're not jesting with your nephew.
I can assure you, by veritas, I speak the truth. And it will be done. I shall have a new will written. It will specify that you are my named heir and that I plan on adopting you. So if anything were to happen to me, my wishes will be known. And I will make sure it is safely hidden.
Uncle, I never expected...
But you dreamed.
We all dream of the unattainable.
Nothing is unattainable if you desire it enough.
I have dreamed, Uncle. Dreamed of taking our language, our laws, our art to every corner of this earth. To conquer and liberate and enlighten each and every village. For Rome. For you. With you.
You will be good for Rome. I've always thought that. And the soothsayers may be right. And you will very well rule the world, as Alexander once did. The son of Apollo.
The son of Caesar. Uncle, is it immature that I want to rush back to Rome and shout it all from the highest temples?
As much as I would love to see it, that wouldn't be prudent. Octavian, if I were to die prematurely, you are likely to encounter hostility. Some will refuse to accept you. The Senate.
I fear Antony and even Cleopatra more than those syphilis-ridden patricians.
Those two may just very well come together to destroy you. You need to be prepared, mind and body. You must go to Apollonia, study, learn to be both soldier and scholar. Bring along those two friends, the handsome masculine one and the clever prissy one.
Agrippa and Maecenas. I will make you so proud.
You already do. But I need you to be strong and shrewd and ready to fight. As much as I'm beloved, I also have many enemies who would love to see me laid out on a funeral pyre.
Octavian pricks himself with Caesar's sword.
Uncle, I swear by the Furies, by Jupiter, by Caesar, if anything were to happen to you, I would not rest until I have vanquished each and every conspirator and their offspring.
Sweet, loyal boy.
Caesar licks Octavian's face, then embraces him.
Strange. Yours is the only touch that makes me feel human.
And you make me feel alive. I can have Silius fill the basin with fresh water so we can bathe.
No, I like us filthy, our scents mingling.
Sometimes I wish I could just consume you.
You can try. Please, that will be my offering to you to celebrate the day of your auspicious birth. Have me as many times as you like. Consume me.
I shall. And what do I give you when it's time to commemorate your glorious emergence to our world?
An empire.
Gaia lights up on a completely transparent room containing two very comfortable chairs. In this version of the future, there are microchips implanted in everyone's cerebral cortex and occipital lobe, so viewing all things takes place in one's head. Minerva gets an internal alert.
Dispatch her.
Barbara enters wearing a skirt.
You sent for me?
I did.
Why?
A complaint was filed.
Against me?
Well, yes.
Why wasn't I just directly informed?
You would have been, but there was no precedent for how to handle this.
I'm not understanding.
It's just bizarre.
What is?
I haven't, in all my years here.
5 years.
Well, yes,
That's not all that many years.
true. But the innovations, technological and otherwise, the new laws, sweeping changes, what we've accomplished.
What we've accomplished.
Well, you more than me, of course. Still, this is one for the books.
Maybe you can tell me what it is.
Yes. My manners alert. Would you like something to ingest?
I'm good.
A liquid muffin?
Blueberry?
Raspberry?
Pass.
Ouzo?
Certainly. Now, this complaint.
Yes. You've been accused of impropriety.
Impropriety?
Of a sexual nature.
What? Another.
I know.
There must be a mistake.
Mistakes are no longer made.
How can you say that without guffawing?
The Trust Amendment.
Ugh, that nonsense. May I ask who is making this complaint?
Hippolina.
From the Lime Green Tower.
Yes? Do you know another Hippolina? Her report states, first, you gave her a look.
A look.
A look.
What kind of look?
One of impropriety.
Nonsense. I rarely feel the need to look at anyone for longer than 3 seconds anymore.
That's all it takes. And you've been looking at me for much longer than 3 seconds.
Well, you're hard not to look at.
Well, thank you. Wait, now that felt improprietary.
That's not a word.
Add to word bank, improprietary. It is now.
Yeah, I don't know how comfortable I am with that new policy.
It will go through proper channels before being added.
I'm one of those proper channels, so good luck there. And I did not give Hippolina an improprietary look.
She sent the surveillance. See? There.
Where?
There.
Oh, she said something silly. I rolled my eyes.
No, not there. There.
Yeah, that was gas. I had a cup of the new simulated spaghetti bolognese for lunch.
The non-dairy, gluten-free, meat substitute, no harm done to any vegetables brand?
Yeah, that's the one.
And?
All acid, taste-free, intestinal nightmare.
Shame. I had high hopes. Oh, but that wasn't the look either. That look. See? There.
Oh, that look.
Yes. That look. Followed by, and here's why the complaint was filed, that gesture.
Wait, that gesture?
Yes.
So this gesture.
Barbara lifts her skirt at Minerva.
Oh my. Yes. That gesture.
So this.
Yes, that. That. Stop that.
Well, I guess I did do that then, but there was no look. A smirk, maybe.
Yes, I can see a smirkusqueness.
Are you going to try to make that a word also? Because it isn't, nor should it be.
Shall we sit?
They sit. Barbara spreads her legs, then closes them.
And it's not the first
Pardon?
time. The first time you've done that.
This?
Yes, that. Stop that.
Others have complained?
No?
But you've pulled surveillance, haven't you?
Yes, I had to. It's procedural. You know that. You can't go around doing what you just did shamelessly nilly.
Not a word. And why can't I?
You know you can't. You just can't. I mean, there's no reason to. Is there?
Do we always need a reason to do everything we do?
It just feels like something those who shall only be remembered for their destruction would have done. Not us. We don't. You can't. You certainly shouldn't.
The smirk, or the gesture, or this, perhaps.
No, all of the combination. But especially, and that inappropriate side glance at Hippolyta's tummy. I saw that.
Yeah, well, she's fat.
We don't think those things, let alone say them.
We can think what we like. We fought for that, free thought. And I couldn't help glancing. I mean, the girth on that one.
Why would you? I don't understand. I just don't.
What don't you understand?
Why you of all women, would do such a thing. I know your history. You're a heroine, an icon. You were on the front lines during the vagina wars. You and your team realized the way to defeat those who shall only be remembered for their destruction was via their whatses. So once the scrotal septum magnet was invented, we could easily control those who shall only be remembered for their destruction. And last Vagina Freedom Day, you were awarded the Fuchsia V for your valor and your fearless prosecution of the very last of the worst of those who shall no longer be remembered except for their destruction. It was even you who suggested that most of those who shall only be remembered for their destruction be banished to Greenland, since nothing of much consequence ever happens there. The others were dispatched to various areas of the world where they mine environmentally friendly ways to continue to combat climate change. And it's working. That was you. So, why?
Can you stop pretending that you don't know me, Minerva? It's exhausting and more than a little disconcerting.
I'm being professional.
For the surveillance? Turn it off.
We're not really supposed to.
But we can, so do it.
Fine. But for 7 minutes, I can say we took separate orgasm breaks.
Separate?
Barbara, I can't keep covering for you. This has to stop.
For God's sake, we cohabitate. And you call me in like I'm some intern? Are you forgetting that I created your job?
I'm not forgetting that, Barbara. I know that. I owe you. We all owe you. Womankind owes you. Your list of achievements is endless. You championed outlawing social media and replacing it with thought teleportation, which we have near perfected.
Well, removing the hive mind was key to civilization not just continuing, but flourishing, and giving us back free time.
Booming and blooming, that was the mantra. And you fought for education for all, a diverse, socially conscious, class-encompassing education told from the female perspective, directly injected into the bloodstream.
Well, deciding curriculum is still one of our greatest challenges.
One that we are meeting head-on thanks to the committees you put together. You argued against genocide when most of us wanted to eliminate those who shall only be remembered for their destruction. And you were right. We certainly haven't figured out how to procreate without their deposits. You even spearheaded that program where those who choose to can spend an evening with one of those who shall only be remembered for their destruction, for their own carnal needs and or desires.
Can't we just say men, just for these 7 minutes?
You can. I refuse. And we have less than 5 minutes left.
That's because you talk so much. You're so precise.
Someone must be. You even allowed those with a queer bend to survive and thrive. In Australia.
Well, that continent needed some pizzazz. I have virtual visits with my 3 gays every other day. I'd be lost without them, especially during award season. And to watch them constantly engaging in sexual misconduct, which none of them seem to mind, I mean, it's a hoot and a half.
If you say so. They represent no real threat to us. You proved that in your seminal Save the Gays proclamation.
Someone had to.
And you introduced the highly controversial bill to slowly allow select and rehabilitated handfuls of those who shall no longer be remembered except for their destruction back into society.
Strictly probational.
I'm iffy on it. But you've been right about almost everything else. Thanks to you and our sister pioneers, we can work and have children with no fuss. Why should women accept this picture of a half-life instead of a share in the whole of human destiny?
Well, Betty would be proud. Oh, that bitch.
Barbara! Thanks to you and those like you, we don't have to dress our faces and our bodies to impress anyone but ourselves. And we are no longer sexualized. Well, we're not supposed to be, anyway. But this thing you keep doing, it's reminiscent of a certain comic from the time we no longer speak about.
Oh, he was funny. I believe the tribunal exiled him to the Arctic Circle, where he's still doing live shows. Would you like to see?
No. We negotiate, compromise, and problem solve in creative and innovative ways now, and our planet is so much better for it. Even our world and religious leaders have learned to act for the greater good. We are a kinder, safer, more thoughtful, more inclusive civilization. We do quite a bit of bickering, but we also get things done. Bravo us.
Why are you still speechifying, Minerva? It's like you're on a pulpit pausing for applause. Good goddess, you have the shadow surveillance still on, don't you? You're trying to impress the council.
I can't in good conscience turn everything off. And the council is already impressed by me.
Ugh, you can and you will turn it off, all of it, now.
Fine.
They kiss. Minerva grabs Barbara under her skirt.
Oh, Minerva. I would say that was downright improprietary.
I would say you enjoyed it.
I wouldn't contradict that.
But we can't do this here.
Because
we do this at our domicile each evening.
At 8 p.m., sharp, followed by food consumption, a dispenser of imported wine, 2 hours of a council-approved film, and then slumber. Ugh, there is just far too much order in our world now. The interconnectedness is great, but we have lost intimacy and creativity along the way.
Is that why you're going around flashing your vagina at every Sam, Sue, and Sally? Sam for Samantha, of course.
Of course. I don't know why I do it. Maybe it's because it gives the flashy something to smile about. They're either shocked or aroused, but it seems to give them pleasure, which gives me pleasure. I mean, no one else reported me, and I flashed a meter 6 times. I've even received compliments and 2 propositions. I mean, only that lard-ass, Hippolina.
Barbara!
Oh, you don't like her either.
But not because of her overweightiness. That one? No? Fine. She does have that mole.
Ugh, right under her left nostril.
Makes her nose look like it's in distress. This is terrible. We shouldn't.
What, have some fun?
Not at the expense of others.
We are from different generations.
But we share a desire to make the world a better place.
That we do. And let's not forget who pursued whom.
You were the smartest, sexiest woman I ever encountered. You still are?
Flatterer. I did and do love how you wanted to take up the torch, up the ante, and fix the world.
You also love that I look like a young one of them with my cropped hair. Do you miss them? Him?
My husband? Ex? No, not at all. What I miss is spontaneity.
I can be spontaneous. I just like to plan it.
Okay, let me choose tonight's feature.
Fine. But does it have to be one of theirs?
No, the films we're making now are just as good as theirs, but it would be nice to revisit the 1970s sometime.
I concede. For tonight. But it must be a strong, female-driven narrative. I must turn back on now. It's been longer than 7 minutes. What do I tell the council?
Tell them to advise Hippolina to have that thing lanced. Tell them the truth. I have nothing to hide.
Fine. I might leave some of it out of my report. I will see you at home. Oh, and please synchronize your calendar for tomorrow's virtual voting.
Wait, what is tomorrow? I didn't get an alert. We're discussing an edict that would abort male fetuses?
Just the ones who show a genetic predisposition towards violence or sexual inappropriateness.
How did this nonsense make it to forum?
A lot of us are wary about the future.
So you think this is a valid bill?
I think it has merit and should be debated.
I disagree, and we must all agree. Excise it.
Fine. But it will be introduced again in the future.
Not while I'm around.
Barbara begins to leave, then looks back at Minerva, who flashes her.
Uncle!
Nephew.
Tanner?
Dylan, is this hell?
What did you do to me? Did you stab me?
Understand? I just don't. What the? Were we teleported to Greenland? Why are those who shall only be remembered for their destruction here? Why, Barbara?
Minerva, there's no need to panic. Look at them. They're harmless. They're all gay.
So we're in Australia?
I liked girls.
Here we go.
Honey, please. I know my gays.
Uncle, what is a gay?
I'm not quite certain. Perhaps that captivating siren can enlighten us.
Ooh, why thank you, strong strapping sir.
Barbara! And they're not harmless. My internal alert tells me that one's a predator.
How did you... Is this some kind of fuck me too tribunal? I am not. All my boys knew exactly.
Just stop already, okay?
And these two half-naked examples of those who shall only be remembered for their destruction are brutal murderers. If I recall the forbidden history you injected me with.
You dare to address us in such a manner. Uncle, vanquish her!
Name call, nephew. It appears we are no longer in Rome, and I seem to have been stripped of my sword.
Ouch. I feel you, bro. I hate when that happens.
Where is my squirrel septum magnet?
We do have... Who do I have to fuck to get a martini?
Where are our legions? Uncle, I believe these two represent a future in which women have power.
All the power.
I'd be careful if I were you. Making us angry can be hazardous to your health.
We do not fear you, fictional characters. We are actual, historical figures.
I'm getting that. Key root word, history.
I was based on a real person, too.
I'm mostly a composite, a nuanced but tragic one.
Too tragic, if you ask me.
You know my, forgive the word, history?
I do, oddly enough.
Strangely, I seem to now also know all about you. All of you, by Jupiter! All your tedious tales pouring into my head. It's worse than omens and prophecies.
I can't stop the footage. So much inappropriateness and abusivity.
Not a word. And you, Tanner, you deserve better. You didn't need to go to that extreme. Such a tragedy.
Woe is me.
I didn't mean offing you. That was justice. I meant taking his own life afterwards.
Barbara, to be accurate, we never see him do it. It ends before.
But he must die, holding me like a gay Romeo and Juliet.
Who?
Who?
If Romeo was a degenerate pervert. When we stage Shakespeare now, everyone is, of course, female and age-appropriate.
Uncle, I don't comprehend the references. What is a Shakespeare?
Perhaps it's code, Octavian.
For long-winded, overdone, and boring.
Miss Barbara?
Miss, how sweet.
Barbara!
You think there could have been hope for me?
Yes, you were so young.
30.
22.
You had your whole life ahead of you.
But I was afraid I'd continued the cycle of abuse.
We can change things if we want to. We have that power.
Uncle, do you think there was hope for the attractive yet weak-spirited boy?
Certainly, but I did enjoy the carnage. Reminded me of the slaughter at Munda.
Regale me.
After 8 relentless hours of blood spilling. Nope. Not here and now, nephew.
He's your uncle,
Great.
and he butt fucks you, and people call me the predator.
Silent lowly plebe, or die.
Fine. Don't get your toga in a twist. You know, Octagon, you have something I can't put into words.
Jesus.
Perhaps I do have something. Allow me to put it into words. I have the ability to destroy you with one gesture. Uncle.
Ah, it seems I've been hexed. I cannot cause him harm.
It's upsetting, unsettling. I've been attempting to send debilitating viruses to all of you. Except you, Barbara, of course.
Of course.
And I keep receiving error messages.
It is bizarre. Why are we here together?
Where in the name of Apollo is here?
I still think it's hell.
And why can't we vanquish them and flaunt their decapitated heads on spikes?
You're feisty and a bit over the top. Tell me, would you like to be on the CW?
What is this peasant droning on about? Uncle, I don't like it here. This, what did the boy without hope call it? Hell? I'd like to return to the calming world of battle. And I want my empire.
For that to happen, dear Octavian, I will have to be assassinated.
Oh, that would not be good.
Careful, nephew. Your insouciant tone gives your ambition away.
Insouciant? Was that word even around during your time?
OMG, you're Julius Caesar.
Well, you're not very quick, are you?
Oh, he is at some things.
Minerva, what are you doing?
Trying to banish these four, those who shall only be remembered for their destruction, to Turkmenistan or Tajikistan. Texas? Back to Rome, even. Nothing's working.
Rome? We are Rome. Crush her!
Maybe everyone can stop trying to annihilate and or exile everyone else. Negativity is exhausting.
Boy without hope may be the wisest amongst us.
Thanks. I think, are you going to try and have your way with me, Mr. Caesar, sir?
I hadn't planned on it, though it certainly would pass the time.
If you get him, then I get Octopus here.
Back away, miserable filth. Uncle, I thought I was your time passer.
No one will be having their way with anyone. Well, no one with a penis, anyway. Can you explain to me, to us, why does everything always have to be about you and your incessant need to be coddled and have your egos metaphorically and your manhoods literally stroked? Why?
It's the way it is.
And has always been.
Well, tell that to Gaia, ancestral mother of all life, born at the dawn of creation. Terra, to you, O great Caesar.
She's a myth.
Because you wrote her out of the history books. Look, we are all very different, with quite divergent views, but we're stuck here. It's like some plague or pandemic has vanquished, to borrow a word, has vanquished everyone and everything and left us here to work together to better our little world or figure out ways to destroy each other. Although we can't even seem to do that yet. So maybe we've been given a gift here. Maybe we can try a little understanding and forgiveness.
Are you, of all people, you who led the vagina wars? You who...
I know my accomplishments, Minerva.
Fine. But are you suggesting that we should forgive them and, goddess forbid, let them back in?
Okay, firstly, there are only 4 of them here. Secondly, perhaps it's time to realize we all live in the gray and not the black and white. So maybe the time's come for mercy.
Even for that one, the drunk who molested children.
I never abused children. I'm complicated.
You're a piece of shit. But maybe that one horrific trait shouldn't completely define you. I'm sure you weren't all rancid.
He did make some great movies that mattered.
What are these movies everyone keeps referring to?
Flickering images captured and then projected using light on a preferably large screen, usually telling stories.
Fascinating.
Barbara, will you stop fraternizing with them?
Oh, they're just humans, Minerva. Horribly flawed humans. I mean, take him. He was a ruthless dictator who ordered his soldiers to pillage and butcher and rape with wild abandon. But he was also one of the world's most significant leaders. He fought to make life better for the people, all people.
Hail, Uncle!
And his protege would arguably go on to do more good for civilization than any other ruler in recorded history.
Who argues this? I want names.
But commits many atrocities during his reign as well. I mean, do you all see the point I'm making?
Ow, my balls. Did you do that?
I certainly hope so.
I thought I did.
It's happening. I feel sharp stabbing pains. Did the Ides of March already?
Minerva, stop that.
Fine, but just for a moment.
Furies, female you may be, you must avenge the pain inflicted on my uncle, the great Caesar.
Ow! It's like a colony of bats hitting against the side of my head.
Gaius Octavius Thurinus, stop that. Apparently, we do have the power to hurt each other, to wage war on one another. Or we can try and heal, to replace anger and hate with compassion and empathy. So, what shall it be?